All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another MLB The Show 26 stream here on Twitch. I'm NextJGGen24, and today we're going to be grinding out the last of the Team Affinity programs that I have yet to complete. So if you don't recall from yesterday, we completed, I would say about we completed at least two, and the Giants we were very close on because the Giants, all we really need with them is the strikeouts and the innings pitched, which we could easily do in a conquest game. So, and then we get Juan Marichal, who will we'll use him. We'll use him in the play versus CPU game so that we could get the 500 XP with him, and then we'll focus on the Cincinnati Reds. Now, the Reds, I did start to make some progress, not a lot. I do need to eventually I need to eventually get a pitcher in here, so we'll worry about that, but later. But for now, the goal is do one conquest game, get Juan Marichal, put Juan Marichal in the rotation, then grind the Reds Team Affinity program, and then that'll be it. There will be no more Team Affinity programs for me to complete, and that'll be it. Or we'll be ready for tomorrow when the new content drops. The City Scrapes, the April Spotlight Drop 5. That's going to be all tomorrow. So, yeah, let's hop right into it. Let me make sure I got my Reds lineup, but I also have my pitchers in here, the Kane and Logan Webb, as well as Ryan Walker. Okay, we're good. All right, let's go play that conquest game. So I hope y'all are having a good Thursday. Final day of April. Can you believe we already went through it? Holy moly. Yeah, and I did see the game last night, or with the Mets, and it was hard to watch. You know, honestly, I hate being right about my Mets, but David Peterson is not a starting pitcher, and Sean Manaea is not a pitcher. Okay? I understand why Stearns rewarded Sean Manaea after his um after his postseason 2024 performance with a lucrative deal that he did. But my God, this has been horrible to watch. Like, I'm sorry, but that was watching Sean Manaea right now is hard. It's very hard. It's almost like the Mets are basically saying we have nothing, so we're throwing him out there and hoping he figures it out. If he doesn't figure it out, well, then not much we could do. Maybe this is why the Giants were so willing to let him come to New York. It's difficult. I mean, the whole pitcher situation is not very good for the Mets. And the sad part is there is nothing they can do to resolve it because they brought up Christian Scott to replace Kodai Senga. They can't rely on David Peterson to have a start. And Jonah Tong right now down in the minors is very inconsistent. So what do the Mets do? I don't know if I know the answer for that. It's unfortunately a problem. I mean, and here I was at the beginning of the season, because you could all go back to several of my streams, and you can clip the part where I say that the three guys that are guaranteed a spot in the rotation is Freddie Peralta, Nolan McLean, and David Peterson. I thought for sure Peterson was going to be much stronger. Right now, only one who's guaranteed is Nolan McLean. Even Freddie Peralta, I'm glad that he's in a position to win a game today, assuming the Mets hold on, because right now it's 4-3. Or I checked the last time I checked the score, it was 4-3, but now I feel like I'm jinxing it. But Freddie Peralta has been, at times, not very consistent. I mean, a 3.5 ERA, that's not what you would expect from the guy who's supposed to be your ace. Or he just lowered it to 3.5. So it needs to be way lower, in my opinion, to be considered an ace. I mean, maybe you can argue it's a change of scenery. He's not really used to pitching at Citi Field. It's a more hitter-friendly ballpark. But he's got to figure it out eventually, because if he's not pitching like an ace, then the Mets are not really going to win a lot of games. So strike 3, sit down. What's this? Oh. Oh, no. The Nationals took the lead. Darn it. The Mets had it, and then I think Luke Weaver must have blown it. Yeah, 2 runs. It's Luke Weaver. Oh, so much for that. Once again, the bullpen cannot go the distance. But sure, let's give millions of dollars to a pitcher, two pitchers with the Yankees. Probably the crappiest team to try and sign pitchers away from in terms of the bullpen. And especially a guy who has not been the same since the 2024 NLCS game that where Pete Alonso hit a home run off of him and won the game. Strike 3, sit down. If ABS was in Diamond Dynasty, I think the batter would challenge that. Strike 3, sit down. So if I didn't already have the strikeouts with Logan Webb, I certainly have them with Ryan Walker. This team is frustrating. It is so, so frustrating. But you know what? I thought about it, and I think the person that truly deserves blame for this is David Stearns. You know, Mendoza is just trying to work with what he's got. And in all honesty, the Mets are not getting rid of Carlos Mendoza. That's already been confirmed by Steve Gelbs. That could change, but it's not his fault that he has this roster. You know, Stearns is the one who did this. He's the one that decided, let's go put Bo Bichette at third, even though he's never played at third before. He's the one that said, let's go sign Devin Williams, even though he hasn't been the same since the NLCS in 2024. Let's go sign Luke Weaver, even though we know that the Yankees don't exactly have a great history producing bullpen arms. Let's go trade away Brandon Nimmo for an aging Marcus Semien, and Brandon Nimmo's just going to go off for the Texas Rangers. Meanwhile, Marcus Semien can come in and not do much.
No, he's in there.
You know, all these decisions go back to David Stearns. It's his team. All right? He's the one that let Alonso walk. He traded away McNeil and Nimmo. He let Diaz walk, although Diaz wouldn't be here right now anyway, so... But still, like, all this stuff, all these decisions, it's all on David Stearns. I wish I had a better outlook, but I don't. You know, the reality is that what David Stearns tried to do in Milwaukee, I'm sorry to say, but that's not going to work in New York. Attaboy Spencer Steer. So, maybe he is a smart executive, but definitely not a smart GM. So, if I'm C. Cohen, I'm telling David Stearns he needs to step back from being general manager. Because this roster is his disaster.
Ball, that's out.
Don't forget, he's also the guy who signed Frankie Montas to a 2-year, $34 million deal, and Frankie has only pitched once. Was it 2 years or No, it was 3. No, it was 2 years because they signed him in 2025 or for the 2025 and 2026 season. Anyway, 2 years, $17 million a year. And Frankie Montas maybe had a couple starts last year. So there's that. I mean, look, he looked like a genius with with Griffin Canning. He really did. I thought he was a very solid addition up until he got hurt, and then the Mets moved on from him. So he did somewhat get that right, but unfortunately, it just didn't last. Still, that's the only pass that I'm giving. That's the only pass that I'm giving. It's the only pass that I'm giving Stearns. Everything else he owns. He owns it, and he has to accept that. If he doesn't, well, then he really is delusional, and maybe he shouldn't be running a baseball team. Let's see. TJ Friedel. We'll sell him for 73. Rhett Lauder. Sell him for 44. We'll keep Dane Myers. And we'll just wait to see if the second TJ Friedel sells. If he does, great. Not, oh well. Brian Abreu, not worth it. Just gonna quick sell and get the subs. Okay, 37. Quick sell. Quick sell. 26. All right. All right, so we're gonna just pitch with Juan Marichal. Now we'll do a complete game with we'll do a complete game, 9 inning game, and try to get as many stats with the Reds as we can. We need the Nationals. There they are. Plays the home team. Play at Costco. Whoops. All right, Mets have a runner on second in the bottom of the 8th here. But there are 2 outs, so it's going to require a base hit here. They might be doing a pitching change. Soto is on base. What happened? Oh, Weaver gave up a home run to C.J. Abrams. Jeez. See, here's the thing. At least with the Nationals, and this is why I say they're the better team, they're young, they have the chemistry, and they can make a lot of noise. They have a lot of exciting players coming up. C.J. Abrams, well, some of them are already here. James Wood, Dylan Cruz, Brady Howes. You know, a lot of these guys are young, they have the chemistry, and they feel like they're not being pressured right now. Dalen Lyle. Jacob Young, all these guys. I really hope that people don't underestimate the Nationals, because they could sneak up on you. That's going to be an out. A left field. He flied out, so we're heading to the ninth inning. Strike 3, sit down. It's frustrating being a Mets fan. This is why I think we're better off, strike 3, sit down, keeping our expectations low. I mean, think about it. 2024, there weren't a lot of expectations there. I mean, we knew Alonso was well, actually, no. Alonso started his home run chase last year. Anyway, let's see. I mean, they didn't have Soto yet. And they started 0-5. Strike 3, sit down. Oh, God. They brought in Devin Williams. Attaboy, Ellie. I mean, they were also coming off of the 2024 season where they tried to win with Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, and it didn't work, so they ended up having to trade away those two guys. So Ellie De La Cruz with the home run. That's it. That was the only hit for this Reds lineup. Strike 3, sit down. Strike 3, sit down. A base hit by Nunez. Oh my God. Nice steer. Home run. Take it. And here's the other thing, too, with the Nationals. They have speed. And that's so important. You know, because you need guys who are going to try to... And Nunez stole second, so there we go. Once he scores, that's it. The Mets are done. And I'm not taking the chance again. Ooh, man. Better slide to the side. I didn't realize how bad of a steal rating he had. Hope the Mets challenged that. Oh, they did. Okay, overturned. Yeah, it should be. Based on what I see here on the ESPN app, it should have been a strike. What's up, SB Champ? How are ya? Fly out to right, Nunez to third. Oh, good. Good to hear. Now Devin Williams really needs a strikeout here.
He's safe.
Strike three, sit down. Oh, no. Oh, well, the runner is going to advance to second.
Aye.
Strike three, sit down. Fielder's choice. Oh, they got the runner out at home. Okay. Maybe that was a smart play then. If they can keep, if they end up winning the game, that might be the game that, or the play that saves the Mets the game. But they have to win. Strike three, sit down. James Wood. What are the Mets doing here?
Ball. Nope. That's inside.
Are they going to pitch around Wood? Nope. They're going to get him to swing at a pitch that's way out the zone. Yeah, I'm watching, or I'm following along with the end of the Mets game right now. It's 5-4 Nationals. The Mets had the lead 4-3 in the top of the eighth, and then Luke Weber gave up a home run to C.J. Abrams. Well, they did something there because that was the final out. So now we're in the middle of the ninth. So last chance for the Mets. Hey, at least they won. Right now for the Mets, I don't know if they're going to win because it's going to be Semien, Bench, and Torrens coming up. The person that I have the most confidence out of that entire group is Carson Bench. I mean, can't they place Beatty in at second? Or is Beatty already out of the game? Yeah, they got him. No? Well, they're going to keep playing with Marcus Semien. Oh, he is out of the game? Darn. Okay. I guess Semien's just got to be smart here. Or at least I hope Semien is smart. He hasn't been good all day. He's 0 for 3. Strike 3, sit down. That's a ball, but if I'm the Reds, I'm challenging that. Getting it overturned into a strike. Oh, never mind. They just threw another strike, or they just threw a strike, so it's 2-1.
Ball.
And it's a ground out to the third base. So there's one out.
Hey. Foul ball.
Strike 3, sit down. Bench cannot do too much here. He just needs to be smart. Get on base. Put himself in a position to score. Maybe get be the tying run. Swipe a bag. Set up Torrens or whoever to drive him in. That's what Bench needs to do. Nope. Instead, he's just going to ground out to first. So they're bringing in Francisco Alvarez to hit for Torrens. Well, I guess you really don't have much of a choice here. But Torrens has been, or Alvarez has been cold. So I'm not too confident in Alvarez right now. But I guess it's your only option. Looking at a pitch right down the middle for a strike, so that's nice. As Stevenson hits a home run for me. Thank you, Stevenson. He's going to look at a pitch that's way out the zone. Needed an oar to hit that one. Ball. Okay, that's low. It was close. The Reds are not challenging. Or maybe they are. I mean, based on where I see it on the placement, it should be challenged. And Alvarez, base hit, a double. Double to left field. So Alvarez is in scoring position for Ronnie Mauricio. Mauricio has come through in the clutch before. Well, only once this year. You got an MLP 5 last night? Or nice. Strike 3, sit down. Mauricio doesn't do too much, just a nice little base hit. Do they pinch hit for or pinch run for Francis? Nah, you can't do that. If this game goes to extras, then you have no catchers. Strike 3, sit down. You gotta stick with Alvarez for as slow as he may be. You gotta stick with him. So Mauricio's gonna swing or get a strike looking. Take a ball. Okay. I'm sorry. I know I really shouldn't be commentating on that. I should be commentating on this game.
Ball one.
A low strike, so it's down. It's 1-2. Come on, Mauricio. A ball, okay.
Ball, that's out.
Foul ball, okay. Fighting, fighting. Gotta fight. Fight, fight, fight. Nice, Benson. A ball, so a 3-2. Alvarez is not going to get a head start here. I mean, if Soto or if Mauricio takes a walk, that can set up Bo Bichette. Fouled off a pitch right down the middle. That was more of a challenge me pitch. Hold on. And he struck out, so that's it. Mets lose the series 5-4. Thanks, Luke Weaver. Thanks.
Aye. Nope.
Oh, I'm sure they will. So what does that make the Mets for the month of April? Just asking. Strike 3, sit down.
Aye.
What do you mean a new strike zone is working? Strike 3, sit down. At least now I can focus on this.
No, that's a foul ball.
Come on, I need more hits. There we go. Oh, no.
Aye.
So what does that make the Mets in this homestand? 2-4? No. No, they were 2 and let's see, they had a 3-game series against 4-game series against the Twins. I know they won 2 against the Twins, so
No, he's out.
got him.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Aye.
Yep. Strike 3, sit down. And I'm assuming this is Diamond Dynasty, so you can't challenge it via ABS. Yeah, every day is literally different in Diamond Dynasty. So my philosophy is if it's close enough, I'm swinging. And if I at least if I swing and miss, I know it's a strike. Will Benson again. Yep. Strike three, sit down. And the Mets also don't have Luis Robert Jr. because he's out with a herniated disc. So that's great. Strike three, sit down. Well, then there you go. At least you're being more patient in this game. Strike three, sit down.
That's out.
For a moment there, I thought there might be a shot that it would have gone over the wall, but it didn't have enough under it. I mean, I would say you've probably gone beyond double. You've probably gone beyond triple. Let's see, 4. Yeah, yeah. You've tripled the amount of walks that you've had last year, this year.
Hey! Ball.
Exactly. And there goes the run for Washington. All right, sounds good. I'll just be playing my game here. Should be wrapping this up, so I'm not going to have to pitch with CJ Abrams, or not CJ Abrams. Wow. I'm not going to have to pitch with Juan Marichal much longer. I'll get Chili Davis and we'll move on. Because I got to get the Reds in here. The Reds pitchers. Strike three, sit down. Hopefully I did enough to be able to earn John Franco, because having him in the bullpen would be a huge help. Okay, I got Barry Larkin, so I can add Barry Larkin. Although, if I wanted to, I could just do a moment and get John Franco. Yeah, it's going to have to be one of the moments. Let's do Paul O'Neill's one. All right, there's one hit.
That's the ball.
And there's two. So now we'll have John Franco. Okay. What did you watch today? Because the Mets just lost again. What you witnessed is exactly what I warned you about. Believe me, I wish I were wrong. But I knew I wasn't going to be. All right, so Lodolo is going to be the fire who? Mendoza? There's not much you're going to get out of. There's not much. They're not going to fire him. They're not firing him. Steve Gelb's already reported that the Mets were not considering it. That their minds may change, but I can tell you right now, they're not firing him. Yep. Ten and 21, the Mets are now. And just looking in April, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They lost 19 games in April. 19.
Ball, that's out.
Yes, it is.
He's out.
Let me tell you, not many teams who start off that way, losing 19 games, end up making. So, what's the plan in May? The plan is to start looking for some. They should probably start looking for some trade suitors. That would be my plan. Try to cut that payroll so that if they're going to go for the worst, for the worst record in the MLB and get a top 5 draft pick for next year's draft, then at the very least they need to shed that payroll.
That's outside.
Strike 3, sit down. You don't have to make a trade right away, but I would start looking at having discussions. Yep. Hoopin, this is not any different than what happened to the Mets in 2023. They spent a lot of money trying to get Justin Verlander. They got him. They did not do a good job of beefing up their team for 2023. And once Diaz went down with his injury, it was all hell broken loose. And they ended up trading to get prospects.
Ball one. No, he's in there safe.
So, guys that I see as trade bait, I see Bo Bichette, I see Freddie Peralta, I see Clay Holmes, I see Luis Robert Jr. No, it wasn't. It was nothing, dude. That year was a total disaster for the Mets. That was a total disaster. Kind of like what this year is shaping out to be. A total disaster. Attaboy Spencer Steer.
Ball one. Ball two.
Attaboy TJ Friedel.
Hey. That's a ball.
Wow.
Ball.
That was more of a panic signing, Hoopin. I said that before. The Mets turned to Bo Bichette because they missed out on Kyle Tucker. And Kyle Tucker is probably like, thank God I didn't go with the Mets. But everyone was breathing down Stearns and Cohen's necks. They were saying, fans were like, you don't get a big signing, we're not buying season tickets. And Cohen, I'd like to think that this came down from Cohen, because I don't even think David Stearns wanted Bo Bichette, but Cohen needed to sell season tickets. Yeah, and they realized how stupid that was. Strike 3, sit down.
What do you got?
He didn't even go. He just turned around. Strike 3, sit down. Like he was expecting the pitch to hit him. That's not swinging. What is going on? So
Ball.
I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion they're going to trade Bo. I'm just saying that he's definitely someone I would look to move on from, because he does have opt-outs for after this season. And if you're not gonna, if you have no confidence that he's gonna resign, like or not resign, but opt back in, like I do, then you might as well trade him. Maybe you send him back to the Blue Jays.
No. Inside. Ball 2.
That's very difficult to do, especially when the Dodgers sign all the good players and the Mets are just left with scraps. Honestly, I thought maybe there was a good chance the Mets would make a push for Tarek Skubal, but at this point, I don't even think he wants to deal with the Mets. I think he'd rather just take whatever deal the Dodgers are going to give him.
Inside. Ball. That's out.
Strike 3, sit down.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
He's safe.
Great effort there. You know. And the season that Juan Soto is going to opt out, and I'm sure he's going to opt out, maybe you trade him. Thing is, I'm not sure anyone's going to want that contract with Soto, so that might be more difficult to do, but that's down the road. I don't know what next season's going to entail. Hell, I don't even know if there's going to be a next season with this lockout that's looming. Because he's not on a winning team. I think he recognizes that this is not a team that's going to win. And he wants to win. I don't blame him. You get paid lots of money, great. But if your team's not winning, what's the point? And more importantly, Met fans are going to look to you because you're the highest paid player, and they're going to say, why aren't you doing more? What more can Juan Soto do? But we need somebody to blame for this terrible season. Because he just stood up for Mendoza. I heard his comments about Mendoza. He stood up for him. He probably gets that managerial change does not do the Mets any good. It's not his fault, at least not partially, or at least not entirely his fault. I don't know if Mendoza asked for Luke Weaver or Luis Garcia or Devin Williams. I'm sure he would have liked to have had Edwin Diaz. Yeah, David Stearns is the one who built this roster. He's the one that signed Bo Bichette. He's the one that let Diaz and Alonso walk. He traded away Nimmo for Semien. He traded McNeil away for a prospect who's not even close to the majors. So this is all David Stearns' roster. Therefore, all the failures of the team goes to him. That's where Met fans should be blaming these losses on David Stearns. I should also note that David Stearns is the one who signed Jorge Polanco too. Where's Jorge? Oh, he's injured. Yeah, we were told about that. We knew he had an injuries history, and we were placing him in a spot that he had no idea how to play. That's the thing. Bo Bichette's playing third. He's never played third. Jorge Polanco is playing first. He's never played first. Like, Beatty, we're moving him around. We're playing him in right field. He's never played right field before up until this season, but hey, let's make him into that. You get what I'm saying? There's no consistency. Yep. Thinking, oh, it's gonna be all right. No, it's not all right. when the players make errors and they don't do a good job of fielding their positions, guess what? You're going to give up a lot of runs, especially if you don't have any pitching to boot. Hold on one second. I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to pause the game. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Run prevention, my butt from David Stearns.
Aye.
And I was talking it over with my coworker last night because we're both Met fans. Honestly, the Mets don't even have that much of a history of developing stars from prospects. Like, think about it for a second. Outside of Pete Alonso and Jacob DeGrom, in the last 20 years, what Mets players have actually really succeeded with the team in their system? It's a fair question to ask. No, Edwin Diaz was never in was not a prospect for them. They traded Jared Kelenic to the Mariners for Edwin Diaz. I'm talking about guys who came up through the Mets system and made their major league debut for the Mets and stayed with the team for a long time. In the last 20 years.
That's ball two. Ball three.
David Wright? Maybe. Yeah, David Wright. Jose Reyes? Sure. Yeah, I'll give you Jose Reyes. I mean, I wouldn't say he was great. I would say he was decent. But I'm talking guys like Pete Alonso, Jacob deGrom, those kind of that level of players. Nice, McLean, excuse me. But you get my point? Like, the Mets have not been very good at developing their young prospects. They hype them up, but then when they get up here to the majors, it's like, what happened? Some of them just leave and do better elsewhere, like I don't want to say Brendan Nimmo because it's only his first month with Texas, but Justin Turner, he was on the Mets. He was on the Mets his rookie year, and then he goes to Los Angeles and turns into a superstar, one of the top third basemen in the league. Scott Kazmir used to be in the Mets system, and then they traded him to Tampa Bay, and he became an ace for the Rays. Attaboy, Will Benson. Nice. Key Brian Hayes. Yes, sir. You say, oh, well, that's unfair. You know, not many people are like Jacob deGrom or Pete Alonso. No, but you need those type of guys, and the Mets let deGrom walk, albeit he's hurt, so not too many. It was a hard walk at the time. In fact, I was heartbroken to see Jacob deGrom leave. I was mad. And then to see Pete Alonso leave, too. Strike 3, sit down.
Ball, that's out. Ball, that's out.
Now, look, it's not easy developing prospects. It's not. Okay? But you have to be able to figure out the system so that they can play well at the major league level. Or you need to find guys who are going to play well at the MLB, not just draft them and hope for the best. You got to be able to see, would they succeed against major league pitching? Would they succeed against major league batting? Strike 3, sit down. You need to see that. You need to think about that. You need to have a plan when you draft these prospects. If you don't have a plan, then why the hell are you drafting them? Like, are you just drafting them just to draft them? Or is there a long-term plan? So,
Ball, that's outside. Inside, ball one.
well, I'm not too pleased with my Mets right now. They just dropped the third game against the Washington Nationals, so they finished April with 19 losses, if you could believe that. Lost more than half the month right there. Yep. Changes are going to have to be made, but they better figure something out. You know, have a plan. I want to see what the plan is. Right now, I'm not seeing the plan.
That's ball two. Aye. Ball.
Ooh. Sorry, Lodello. Well, I think that's where the hope is going to have to be on New Yorkers for a championship. Because I don't think it lies with the Mets right now.
Ball one.
But in all honesty, who's going to upset the Dodgers? They looked beatable last year. Last year probably was the best opportunity. But you got to close it out. Yep. All those days of wearing Met shirts when you're kids, you don't know back then. You're just like, yeah, let's do it. This is going to be a lot of fun. Boy, how wrong I was.
Nope.
I'm not even planning to go to Citi Field this year. I'm just going to go to the Rogers Center at the end of June, beginning of July, and that's it. That's about as much commitment as I'm going to show to the Mets. Be like, you could see me at the Blue Jays game. That's it. Because I'm not spending my time, I'm not spending my money at Citi Field. Not for a team that stinks.
Ball. That's out.
Now, if other Met fans want to do that, that's their business. But I personally am not going to spend a single dime on the Mets this year. Other than when I go to Toronto. And even then, all I'm doing, that's more of a, I want to go see the Rogers Center than it is of me saying I want to go see the Mets play.
Aye.
Richard Lovelady,
Nope. Outside.
former Met. Oh, wait. Actually, we're bringing in John Franco because he's going to get the save.
Ball, that's in. Yeah. 2.
Strike 3, sit down.
Ball 1.
I don't know. How do the Dodgers and the Yankees make it look so easy to spend money and be successful? How? I mean, the Mets are in the same market as the Yankees are. Why are they not having the success if they're doing what? Well, I guess the answer to that question is that the Yankees don't overspend on, well, I would say they do overspend on certain players, but it's probably not at the level that the Mets do.
Ball, that's unfair.
Dodgers, it just doesn't seem like they overspend on anybody. They get the right player, they move on.
No, that's down.
They win championships.
That ball's foul.
It has to be. It has to be. That's the only thing I can think of. And honestly, it just doesn't seem like Cohen cares. I want to think that he does,
Ball.
but with the whole casino being built across from City Field, it just feels like he was more interested in that than he was
3.
in the Mets.
Aye. Nope.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but it's looking more and more like Cohen just wanted to own the Mets so that he could build the casino. Strike 3, sit down. When you have other priorities, the one that you initially sold as, or the one that everyone thought was your priority, seems kind of secondary. Maybe the Mets just shouldn't spend. When has it ever worked out for the Mets when they spent money and big money?
Ball 2.
Because even in 2024, like, they didn't, I mean, they kind of got hot at the right time, but they didn't spend big on anyone. They didn't sign Otani. It was just fun. Maybe that's the Mets MO. Get player to have low expectations. Surprise everyone, go on a miraculous run, and let's see how far you could go in the playoffs. I guess that's the best they can hope for. But that doesn't really translate well to season ticket buys or season ticket sales. I don't know. I wish I had the answer, but I don't.
Foul ball. Yep, that ball went out.
Sorry, I'm looking at Twitter and being a sad Mets fan. But I don't need to go on social media and air my grievances. No, I'll just do that here. No, but it's strike three, sit down. I mean, at the end of the day, what am I going to say on social media that is going to turn this Mets franchise around? What am I going to say? What am I going to say that's different from what all the other Mets fans are saying on social media? Nothing. I can tell you it's nothing.
That's in. Ball two.
So I'll just, sit here, complain, and just continue to play this game. Because I'm apparently a self-loathing son of a gun. That's all I am. Oh, you know what I did? Or what I forgot to do? I forgot to add um, Barry Larkin to this. Oh, well. Let's see where we're at with the Reds. I know we got Paul O'Neill, so that's good. Now we do the 10,000 or do the other moment, which was Rob Dibble.
Ball. No, that's inside.
Dang, he smoked that one. The thing is, I don't expect Paul O'Neill to get the 500 XP after one game. Strike three, sit down. So I think what I'll do, if I don't finish him on stream, I'll finish it off stream. Strike three. Oh, wait. What am I saying? I was about to strike him out there, but he didn't. Now I can bring him up. Strike three, sit down. Anyway, yeah. So if I don't get the parallel XP with Paul O'Neill on stream, I'll try to do it off stream, and then that way tomorrow I could just focus on the new content. Strike three, sit out. All right. So maybe a diamond will cheer me up here. Nope, not doing it there. I wish I could say that I was surprised, but I'm not. They won't be better. That's the thing. The Mets are screwed. They screwed themselves. You know? That's not happening. That's never going to happen. I mean, at this point, the Mets should be looking for trade suitors. I don't think it's that. I think that the Mets were they had the what's the old phrase where you see someone or rosy plates or something like that, rosy plane, like the 2024 playoffs screwed them. They saw Sean Manaya's work and thought, oh, he'll be really good for us. We need to re-sign him. Playoffs are far different than what the regular season is. Strike three, sit down. Should have known better.
Hey!
Strike three, sit down. And Senga can't stay healthy, and when he's healthy, he stinks. Strike three, sit down. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter because Peralta never got the win.
That's okay.
So if he never gets the win, all he got out of it was a quality start. He doesn't have the bullpen or the fielding around him to be able to win games. So All he's doing at this point is trying to make a case in case he gets traded that some other team is going to want him. Your guess is as good as mine. What happened with Weaver? I mean, when they don't get used a lot, yeah, I guess this tends to happen. I mean, you don't need to be using relievers every day. I'm not saying that needs to be the case. But you have to use them every once in a while. Because otherwise they go cold. Where do you think we got Kodai Senga? Dodgers dominate that market. Everyone who plays in that league wants to be on the Dodgers. The Mets' strong suit is really the Hispanic players. They should be really looking in there, trying to find the next Juan Soto or the next, True. They could have. That's not the way they went, though. They thought Jorge Polanco would be their answer. Look how well that's working out. He's been terrible. He's been hurt. Bichette hasn't fared. I mean, he's fared a little bit better, but not by much. I'll give you his stats. Give me 1 second while I try to find Baseball Reference. Here we go. What the hell? Why is it not letting me? Yeah, he's got a negative .2 WAR. He's got a batting average of 236. An OPS under 600. Not under 700, under 600. Jorge Polanco, he's got a negative .3 WAR, a batting average of 179, an OPS, ready for this, 532. Another guy under 600. You have way more confidence than I do. I'll give you that.
Ball, that's too high.
Luke Weaver is giving up home runs. Devin Williams is allowing runners to get into scoring positions. He can't even lock down a save right now. So the bullpen is of no help other than Brooks Raley, who I've liked. He looked good today. Strike three, sit down.
No, foul ball. No, that's a foul ball.
Strike three, sit down.
Safe.
I shouldn't really worry about the runner on first, considering I have two strikes here. You know what I see in this Mets team? I see no fight. You know, at least 2024, I believe that that team, the game was never over until there were 27 outs. It just feels like with this team, all you need to get them to do is get into 15 outs, and you pretty much won the game.
That's a ball.
I think that's the biggest problem. There's no fight. There's no energy. This team, this team needs OMG. They need grimace. They like, ugh. Yep. Otani once again performing well. I mean, I don't know what the other stats are for other players, but I fully suspect that Otani's going to win MVP again.
Inside, ball one.
Makes sense. You know, why risk injuring him swinging the bat when you need him as a pitcher? Hey, J Tag. You mean that they expanded the zone? I noticed it. I definitely noticed it. But other than that, I don't really see what else is different. could kind of see it. I thought they actually enlarged it because a lot of strikes that or a lot of pitches that I was spotting out of the zone were being called for strikes. And these are like really close pitches.
Ball one.
Strike 3, sit down. Interesting. Okay, well, no, I didn't really notice it up until you said something. I thought it was just strange that there were a lot of close pitches outside the zone that were being called for strikes. Like here. But because it's touching the zone, that's why it's a strike. Strike 3, sit out. Okay, I didn't have the right thought about it. I thought maybe they just expanded the zone. To include it, or they expanded the strike where the strike 3, sit down. And because that barely clipped the upper inside corner, that was a strike. It's all ABS.
That's a ball.
Attaboy, Paul O'Neill. If that could stay fair, it will. Um, I think I gotta play with it a little bit more and see. But overall, I really didn't notice it too much. I mean, yeah, the where the strikes are called, expanding, or the zone where the strikes are called, expanding, kind of. I don't know. I never felt like the timing was off. I'm glad I fought my initial instinct there to put the runner or tell the runner to keep going to second, it, it even though it was caught, because I thought it was going to land for a base hit. I'm just going to wipe my glasses a little bit. There we go. Now I can see. In all honesty, what I should have done, I should have just put in all the players that I had very close to being super factored. I should have just put them in this lineup because I really didn't need an all Reds lineup anymore. Other than Tyler O'Neill, I needed Tyler O'Neill, but I didn't really need anyone else. I just kind of didn't think about it.
Ball two.
Strike three, sit down. Strike three, sit down. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing with Verlander anyway. I'm just trying to get as much parallel XP with him as I can.
That's outside.
So I don't know why I didn't just do that with the other guy, with the other players. Oh well, it is what it is. I saw they revealed some of the cards for the new Cityscapes uh, series, a card series that they're gonna reveal or that they're gonna release tomorrow, and one of them is John Franco. So I guess I have a reason to be grinding for that card so that I can get that and add him to my Mets collection.
Ball two.
So that's definitely something worth grinding for. Don't know where it'll be, but I'll try and find it.
No.
How
Hey.
lucky. Oh my gosh. I misread it. The center fielder throws it offline.
Ball.
The runner is safe at second, and the runner is safe at third. Jeez. You can't get any luckier than that. And Ellie De La Cruz is just going to hit a grand slam. But I really would have rather Paul O'Neill hit that. So he could have gotten a ton of XP. Instead, he's going to have to settle for a single. And not even score a run because Tyler Stevenson is going to ground into a double play.
Nope. That's inside. Nope. Aye.
Strike three, sit down. Strike three, sit down. Strike three, sit down. Jeez. Well, I committed at this point to doing it, so might as well go to third. Oh, hold on, guys. All right, sorry about that. That was a phone call from work. Just a little scheduling update. Again, with Ellie De La Cruz hitting home runs when I could really use that for Paul O'Neill.
Ball one.
I mean, that grand slam would have been nice to have for Paul O'Neill. All the RBIs, the run scored, the home run, that would have been a lot of parallel XP right there. Sure, he can settle for base hits and everything. That's fine, and maybe he'll come around to score on some of these hits, but like still the grand slam would have been way better. Now Blade can just hit this to the outfield. Beautiful. All right, I'll take the run scored with Paul O'Neill there. Didn't matter anyway because Spencer Steer was going to hit a home run, so Paul O'Neill would have scored anyway.
That's inside.
Ah, crud. Oh well. Still a very solid inning. And at the end of the day, um,
Hey!
Paul O'Neill got parallel XP. That's all I can ask for. Strike 3, sit down. Justin Verlander is going to have some nice parallel XP here, too. Unfortunately, not going to finish the game, but a lot of strikeouts in 6 innings. Strike 3, sit down. 15. Strike 3, sit down. 16. There you go, Justin Verlander. At least there will be no grand slam for Ellie De La Cruz. He could still hit a home run, but won't be a grand slam.
Hey!
I'm not gonna lie, it may stop Marte uh, from scoring here because I'd rather Paul O'Neill have it than De La Cruz. Sorry, Ellie. I know I'm a jerk, but I wanted the parallel XP with O'Neill.
Off the plate, ball one.
There. Now a sac fly will score O'Neill. At a point, did I call Paul O'Neill Cruz? I hope I didn't. If I did, my apologies. That is clearly wrong. Yeah, trying to do that with one hand just isn't going to work.
that's in. No, that's down.
Yeah, let's take out Verlander. Let's put in Williams.
Ball.
I mean, I've given Williams such a big lead that it would even his real life self could not possibly blow this.
Ball.
Strike three, sit down.
Hey.
Strike three, sit down. I'll say this about the Nationals too, and I really like this about them. They hustle. All right? Every at bat matters to them. Every play that matters to them. Like you look at James Wood, Dylan Cruz, Brady House, all these guys that are young, they're playing like at any moment that could be their last MLB game. Like they're fighting for every single run, every single hit they have. Not because they're trying to prove something, but because they're trying their best. I don't see that with the Mets. I see it with the Nationals. That's why I'm saying they might be, not a lot of people should be sleeping on them because, yeah, they have terrible pitching, but I mean, you could get good pitching. You can. I mean, they got a lot out of Mackenzie Gore. But this is a young roster that is definitely on the rise. So I'd look out for the Nationals. I don't think they're going to challenge the Dodgers, not for a few years, but they could definitely surprise a lot of people by sneaking into the playoffs. And like what happened in 2019, that's all they needed. They just needed to sneak into the playoffs, and they were off.
Ball, that's out.
Strike three, sit down. You know, I like that kind of baseball.
Hey.
It should matter. Every at bat should matter. You only get 27 outs. So in those 27 outs, what are you doing to help this team win? Strike three, sit down.
Hey. That hit him. He's got first.
That's the biggest question. If you're not doing everything that you can to help the team win, then why are you even on the team? That's what every baseball player needs to ask themselves. What am I doing to contribute to a win as much as I can?
Oh, that's off the plate. Ball 2.
Strike 3, sit down. And I think when players start asking themselves that, then a lot more of them are going to be really good.
Ball 1.
There you go, Spencer. I mean, not that it matters at this point. Like, I've gotten all the at-bats that I can with Paul O'Neill, although if they want to bat around and try to get one more, although that's not happening because Friedel just grounded out to third, then I've gotten what I can out of Paul O'Neill.
Ball 1.
Strike 3, sit down.
Nope. Outside.
Strike 3, sit down.
Nope.
Strike 3, sit down. And that's the ball game. Ellie De La Cruz absolutely crushed it. I would have liked it to have been Paul O'Neill, but it is what it is. Let's see, where are we? Obviously not close enough to get Rob Dibble. I knew that. Wow, that is really close actually. I could definitely do one more game. But I need to make some adjustments here. Like first of all, putting the right team in here. Okay? Do that. There's too many lefties there. I need to break it up. All right. I think I could do like a conquest game or two. Because I don't have time for another play versus CPU game. Hopefully I have enough time for two conquest games, because then I can get Paul O'Neill done. Perfect, and it's a fly out to left. Couple of hits, and we can get Paul O'Neill another at bat. That's already one. So
Nope, outside.
yeah. Yep. Even if it just clips the strike zone, it's going to be a strike. It's following the ABS system.
All one.
Strike three, sit down. 100 strikeouts for Justin Verlander. Holy cow.
All one.
Been using him a lot.
Batting first. Number 99. Aaron Judge. Hey! Ball, that's low.
Strike three, sit down. Oh, there you go. Wait, like they're one the one to get the Jolt cards, or you mean the number one, or to get the number one fan icon? There we go. Now just avoid the double play. We should be fine. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure. Cody Bellinger with the home run. Yeah, Tyler O'Neill is definitely getting another at bat. I don't understand why at this point they wouldn't just throw in
That's a ball.
a lefty. Okay. Hey, do whatever you need to do. Whatever works for you, honestly. Uh, two inside. Strike three, sit down.
Hey.
Strike three, sit down. Keep going, Zerpa.
Ball.
Putting in a lefty against three consecutive righties? Well, that's a choice. I'll give them that. This is the Yankees, so. Hey, and it worked out because got uh they got three outs.
Ball one. Hey.
Strike three, sit down. Strike three, sit down.
Hey.
Strike three, sit down. That's the ball game. So not exactly a productive game for Paul O'Neill, but he did get some parallel XP, so I guess that's what really counts. Oh, in fact, there we go. That's it. I didn't think he would get that much parallel XP, but okay. I'm good with that. All right, that's all the Team Affinity programs right there. There's no more to complete. Everything is done. That is pretty incredible. Trying to see if I have, I have a couple cards here. Oh, ooh, man, that guy is expensive. See if anyone sells Chase Petty to me. That way I can at least get 300 stubs. Nothing for the American League. I really have nothing for Legends and Flashback. Oh, wait. I have a breakout card. What's the breakout card? Is it? Oh, Franco. Oh, all right. Well, that's good. And then All Star, I'm assuming this is Barry Larkin. Yep. Still looking for a contributor card, but I'll worry about that later. There we go. 300 stubs right there. Phillies, do I? Yeah, I already have them. Nobody here for the American League, at least without, sell or at least without completing the collections. Gosh, I really didn't think it would. I thought I would have to do another game, but I'm done, and I really had nothing else. So I think I'll end it there. That's going to do it for me, guys. So thank you to everyone who tuned in, even if it was only for a moment. I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to follow me here on Twitch and or subscribe. Either one would make me a happy person. If you're watching this on YouTube, I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you like the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to know when I go live, you can follow me on X at TTV Next JG 24. It's my gamer tag that's on the left side of your screen there. So go give me a follow. I'll usually post whenever I go live. You can also turn on notifications here on Twitch. That way Twitch sends you an email every time I start a stream. Like I said, I did not think I would get the Reds done that quickly. I thought I would have had to get one more game of Conquest in before I got Tyler O'Neill done, but hey, I'll take it. At the end of the day, I completed exactly what the goal was for today, which was get the rest of the Giants done, which was Juan Marichal, and get the Cincinnati Reds done, which is exactly what I did. So there are no more Team Affinity programs for me to grind, so I'm not doing that anymore. The moving forward, I guess tomorrow we're just gonna look at the new content, the city scrapes, the April Spotlight program, the new mini seasons, all the new stuff that's coming out tomorrow. We're gonna be checking that out. So I hope to see you all tomorrow, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And until then, guys, have a good night.